Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We've got some ideas. A speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's doing
really?
This. Oh.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
It began with nothing more than a smug smirk, but by the end, it was utter destruction. In the chaos, Gavin Newsom couldn't even find the right camera, his panic written all over his face. Joe Rogan stormed in, dropping facts like kettlebells crashing to the floor. Then Greg Gutfeld followed, firing punchlines sharper than California's brutal tax hikes. What came next wasn't just a takedown, it was a live implosion of pride and policy. And no, not even Newsom's hair gel shield could survive the flames. This wasn't a stumble, it was a meltdown.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors. Yeah. Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
Cut to Gavin Newsom. The camera zooms in like his hairline's negotiating peace with a luxury conditioner. He stands at the podium, radiating the confidence of a man certain the world can't get enough of him. And then, boom, the voiceover slams down like a mic from the heavens. Once Rogan and Gutfeld zeroed in on California's self-anointed Prince of Sparkle, it stopped being debate. It turned into demolition dressed in designer packaging, less conversation, more wrecking ball on live TV.
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes, 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 yes.
Was it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that list.
If you are enjoying this takedown, please hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about Gavin, the man who enters every room like it's a runway show titled Big Government but Make It Glamorous. He's mastered the politician's trifecta, a toothpaste ad smile, a TED Talk voice, and a leadership style that glitches like bad Wi-Fi. On paper, he's the shining poster boy of progressive power, packed with charisma, climate slogans, and just enough recycled paper in his pocket to win another hollow award. But peel back the polish, and what remains? More stagecraft than leadership.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plans.
Watch this.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
And don't get me started on his climate sermons. Gavin pushes enough green policies to fill every aisle at Whole Foods, yet California's grid is so shaky a light breeze sends it into cardiac arrest. Go electric, they chant, right before warning people not to charge their cars from 4 to 9 p.m. because the sun called it quits early. The kicker? Gas stoves are vilified while half the state makes dinner by flashlight. This isn't progress, it's green energy theater with the cast stumbling blindly in the dark.
And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently, and people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Tyrus, did he leave out anything?
He didn't just leave California. He bolted like a man who saw the simulation crack and hit escape. And really, who could blame him? When your backyard starts looking less like Malibu and more like the preview for Fallout, even an elk hunting, sauna-obsessed podcast king has to tap out. Rogan roared down I-10 East and never glanced back. He traded smog and staged scripts for Texas freedom like a UFC champ swapping kale for raw protein. And he didn't sneak away quietly. He carried the loudest mic on earth, the Joe Rogan Experience. This isn't your aunt's podcast. With 100 million listeners and an algorithm that gives CNN nightmares, Rogan's weapon is simple, no filter, all fire, full throttle, and nothing triggered that signature Rogan eye twitch faster than Newsom's lockdown logic. While Gavin was whining and dining through the gourmet apocalypse, Rogan spotted the hypocrisy and hit it so hard the French Laundry's reservation book practically collapsed in shame.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think like 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush.
Rogan didn't show up alone. He rolled in with heavy artillery, doctors, economists, and comedians armed with sarcasm degrees, all sketching the same brutal picture. California's policies, they made less sense than a TikTok finance class run by a cartoon filter. Small businesses were ground to dust while mega corporations skated free. Health guidelines felt like they came from a Magic 8 ball, random, vague, and always painfully inconvenient. And every baffling order was delivered with that blinding grin from a governor who seemed to think hair gel could rebuild public trust. Then came the tech exodus, a modern Oregon Trail, only this time with Teslas instead of wagons. Rogan didn't just talk about it, he lived it. He packed up his studio and planted it in Austin, where blackouts weren't part of the daily schedule. California had turned hostile to innovation and allergic to free enterprise. And Rogan's sharpest blow didn't come from charts or headlines, but from something harder to deny: cold, lived reality.
So, while Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary politician.
Rogan didn't need to shout. He didn't need theatrics. He just took the mic, looked around, and said what everyone with common sense was already thinking: this isn't working. Then swept Greg Gutfeld like a raccoon with a grudge and a thesaurus. He doesn't rant. He roasts. He cuts through fakery with a grin, a one-liner, and a stare that could sour almond milk on sight. Gutfeld is demolition disguised as a comedy set. 5 courses of destruction served with perfect hair and razor timing. He looked at Newsom's polished glow and voiced what millions already knew. The man looks like a fragrance ad, but governs like he's trapped in SimCity on nightmare mode. Gutfeld laid it bare. Newsom on magazine covers, styled like he came from a lab, while just behind him, tent cities, human waste, boarded storefronts, and juice bars gasping for survival beside total collapse. It's dystopian Utopia with a day spa filter, and Gavin still grinning as if a scented candle and a mantra could erase homelessness.
About anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, you can't, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
But Gutfeld didn't stop at Newsom's polish. He went for the jugular. And that jugular? The media's Gavin fixation. Legacy outlets fawn over him like a recycled Kennedy clutching a reusable tote. Reality looked different. Crime-ridden chaos with a spray tan. Gutfeld's monologues didn't just draw laughs, they drew blood. He torched glowing headlines about bold leadership while ordinary people played Russian roulette with rent, gas prices, and their sanity. Families couldn't even buy groceries. Yet, like clockwork, another swooning editorial praised how inspiring his policies sounded. Then came the climate comedy. Gutfeld hit sniper mode, wired on caffeine and truth. Solar panels, equity slogans, carbon neutral fantasies, they sparkle until you ask who's paying. While working families sank under fines and blackouts, bureaucrats cruised in hybrids like extras in a green fairy tale. Charging stations, still a shimmering mirage on the horizon. Gutfeld didn't just expose it, he shredded it. This wasn't planet saving, it was face saving for Instagram.
When Gavin Newsom talks about California, he's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too expensive. Believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
Then came the most savage strike. Newsom's presidential fantasy. Whispers of 2028 swirl around him like incense in a yoga studio, but Gutfeld isn't buying it. Not for a second. He skewers the notion that a governor who can't manage one state is somehow fit to run a nation. He's running all right, Gutfeld quips, but it's from accountability, not toward office. The jokes practically write themselves. Newsom's White House dream is like franchising a restaurant that failed 3 health inspections. The neon sign still glows, but the kitchen's crawling, the freezer's busted, and the Yelp reviews are written in fire. Gutfeld's demolition wasn't just funny, it was lethal. Every punchline packed with truths too jagged for Gavin's PR spin to polish. And then, boom, the crossover no one saw coming but everyone wanted. Rogan and Gutfeld collided like wrecking balls, slamming straight into the hologram known as Gavin Newsom. Rogan brought the receipts. Gutfeld brought the flames. Together they revealed the raw truth. Newsom's leadership doesn't just miss the target, it wipes it out.
Runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow balls.
Rogan didn't need to shout. He didn't foam or stage theatrics. He spoke in that calm, steady tone that lands harder than any scream. People are leaving. Businesses are fleeing. Homelessness is exploding. I moved for a reason. That quiet delivery hits like a sledgehammer disguised as a TED Talk. He's not cracking jokes, and that's what makes it brutal. Then Gutfeld storms in. Same precision, different weapon. Where Rogan calmly unpacks collapse, Gutfeld charges like a comic reading the most ridiculous government script ever written, line by line, with a look that screams, "You believe this?" Rogan connects with the thinkers, the independents, the logic-hungry crowd. Gutfeld hooks the skeptics, the eye rollers, the people who stopped trusting TV news when hope and change turned into chaos and credit cards. Rogan's camp brings charts and interviews. Gutfeld's crew just points at the blazing dumpster fire and shrugs. Told you.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed, The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years due to disruption.
But no matter the style, Rogan with calm conviction or Gutfeld with scorching sarcasm, they landed on the same brutal truth. Newsom isn't leading, he's performing. And the reviews? 2 massive thumbs down. This isn't ordinary failure, it's failure with flair. Gavin's a movie trailer that promises the world, then delivers 90 minutes of slow motion confusion and empty calories. Rogan and Gutfeld saw straight through it from opposite corners of the ring, shredding the illusion piece by piece. He's the human version of all style, no substance, endless speeches, zero solutions. And when Rogan and Gutfeld ripped off that glossy mask together, it felt like 2 very different mechanics dismantling the same busted machine, one with a wrench, the other with a chainsaw. And here's the shocker, the reaction wasn't split. For once, people from every side joined the same outrage chorus.
You know, when I went there, I had a great relationship with President Xi. We got along very well. And they treated me better than anybody has ever been treated. And I said, this air is good. Do you know they closed every factory 1 week before I got there from within 200 miles?
That's like what Gavin Newsom did when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco.
He cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up. He got rid of all the homeless people.
Isn't that terrible in a way? To think, you know, he cleaned it up and then it became a pigsty.
Well, the dumbest thing is he said when your friends come by, when you have visitors, you clean up your house. Like, how about just keep your fucking house clean?
Can you imagine?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I keep bringing up Gavin. Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it.
Suddenly, it was like the political planets aligned. Libertarians, conservatives, burned out millennials, disillusioned hipsters, even that barista who swore off politics after the last election. They were all nodding in unison, different views, same reaction. The realization landed. The real crisis wasn't just bad leadership, it was political theater. And then came the final montage, rolling in like a slow motion knockout punch. By that point, it wasn't about who won. It was about what got exposed. Gavin Newsom didn't just get called out, he got decoded. The curtain tore open, revealing nothing but flash, filters, and hollow fixes. Rogan might drop an episode called Why California Still Sucks, Volume 2. Gutfeld could spin it into a comedy set titled Gavin's Glamorous Gutter Tour. And Newsom, reflection isn't in the script. More likely, he'll snap a selfie beside a wind turbine with the caption, Leadership in Action. Because that's the show. And Gavin, he never stops performing.